There was a time when I was calling for war with China. I think it was like the third week that I was home from work. And I was pissed. I was saying it's clear that China released this virus. It's clear that the virus came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And by God, what are we doing about this? Well, for starters, the flooding that's happening in China right now is not it's not a joke. It's no joke. There are 38 million people here. You can see this. 38 million people evacuated. This is the highest alert they've ever had. They're on yellow alert, yellow flooding alert. Some videos of this, you can see. I mean, it's wild. It looks like mountains moving into people. I mean, this is just absurd. Look at this. You can see. I mean, it's just wild. Looking at that. Look what's happening there. I mean, granted, those are rafts, but you can see this is just flash flooding all through the towns. So that's the video saying 4,000 people evacuated. We know that it's now 38 million people across the country are evacuated. And in particular, it's in Wuhan. And I'm not going to get into conspiracy as to if we are attacking Wuhan or if China is intentionally flooding Wuhan because they know that it's just so sick. And there's just it's literally covered in this Wu virus and this Wu flu that they need to just flood it all out. I don't know. But China doesn't really tell you a lot. They're not exactly the most transparent, I don't think. So this is interesting though. This is interesting to reflect on. As we now see they're flooding Wuhan. China in February had appointed its top military biowarfare expert to take over the secret lab in Wuhan. That, remember, had a lot of people theorizing then that the coronavirus must be originating from not just the institute, but that it would be a military operation in some way, that the army or the military in China is responsible for the release, is responsible for the development, and this is now proven out because, by golly, they're sending in a general. Chen Wei, 54 years old. This is the lady. They sent her in. She's the military general. I don't know what kind of military action she's seen. I don't know. I mean, she's already always wearing a helmet, it looks like, by her hairstyle. But anyways, it's hard to stand out in the People's Communist Republic of China. Not really a republic. Communist Party running a dictatorship over 1.4 billion people. Pardon me. But look at this. So here she is with her team. She's leading specialist. She was, the one that developed the medical spray during the SARS outbreak. That's interesting. She's related to that. It's almost like these people, well, I'm not going to say anything about the Chinese people, but I would say that the people in the party, the Communist Party, want war in some way. I mean, they're putting a military general in charge of the Virology Institute, and it's for biowarfare. That's her background. That's her expertise. Why would you put that person in charge? I mean, it's like instead of Trump hiring Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci, if he had hired like a ton of military generals to make sure that they were in charge of the lockdown. Like, that would be an authoritarian move. That's kind of what you're seeing here, except for it's not authoritarian. They're already doing that. This is weaponization. They're saying, well, if it wasn't a weapon before, we're going to publicly make it one now. And somehow, this just because it's in the news in February, now it's July, we don't really care. Moving on, we're going to look at this is really important. The speech from Bill Barr. Talking about China. Remember, this is why we are on the brink of war with China. We are literally over the edge of the war with China, looking down, saying, yep, that sure is a nice war we're about to go into. And if people weren't aware of this before, they should be now, because Bill Barr, the Attorney General, says it's not just Disney, it's not just Apple. So this is what's interesting. This is the Washington Post. You can see there, bing, Washington Post. The Washington Post is going to selectively pick and choose parts of the speech because, God, they don't want you to hear and see every single bit and to read all the words that he actually said. They don't want you to go and listen to the 47 minutes of speech that he gave. They want you to just know the highlights. He's like, he hates Disney. He doesn't like Apple. He thinks that they're kowtowing to China. He's basically saying what Trump would say. No. Not what happened. And I've read through this article. You can read it if you'd like, but I subscribe to the Washington Post because I want to be able to see what the idiots say, and I want to know what Jeff Bezos wants me to know. I want to know what the product is he wants to put in my brain. I'm not going to buy it, but I think it's interesting to keep up with. So read this article on your own, but be critical of it because it's not going to tell you everything. Instead, just skim over here. He posted the entire speech verbatim. It's a beauty. And you can listen to it, but I enjoy reading through it, skimming it, reading through it again in more detail. 3 different instances. Bill Barr compares the Communist Party in China to the Nazi regime of the late 30s and 40s in Germany. And he does so, first he calls it a blitzkrieg here, right? Let's see. Well, you can find it on your own if you'd like. Man, this was a bummer. Here we go. Gosh, what a bummer if I had to just drop that right there. The People's Republic of China is now engaged in an economic blitzkrieg, an aggressive, orchestrated, whole-of-government, indeed whole-of-society, campaign to seize the commanding heights of the global economy and to surpass the United States as the world's preeminent superpower. A centerpiece, of this effort is the Communist Party's Made in China 2025 initiative. They're trying to make everything there, just like we have been saying for decades. Make things in the United States. We'll hold the power because we have the manufacturing, we have the production. If all you do is buy and consume, you never produce, you don't have any power. You just have the facade of power. You have the appearance of power. That's what they want. They want to hollow out the American economy from the inside out, and they're using Congress to do it. He doesn't just stop there, though. He goes and talks about Congress doing this. He talks about how our trade policies have been hollowed out, that we had agreements with China through Hong Kong that have been completely obliterated, that they have completely destroyed borders that just don't stop. He talks about Hollywood actors, producers and directors priding themselves on celebrating freedom and human spirit, but at the same time, they totally turn a blind eye to anything that China does negatively. They will take out things that actually reflect China accurately, so long as China says, "Oh, we don't want that." They have lines drawn in Disney maps that don't actually exist because they want kids to be propagandized to believe that China owns more of the world than they really do, so that when they take over, theoretically, the kids won't have a question about it. They'll say, "Oh, well, it's fine. I grew up always thinking that was China, so I guess it doesn't really matter." Remember, China just took over a Russian city and said it was always theirs, so they could just take it back. They had sold it away, and then they became Indian givers. And ironically, they then went and took over an Indian city and killed like 100 Indians in the military. There's a conflict happening right now. World War III is breaking out around us, and Americans are not being told this in the media. So our Attorney General came out and said so. He says, America's corporate leaders might not think of themselves as lobbyists, but the FARA Act does not prohibit any speech or conduct, but it does require those who are acting as agents of foreign principles on the take of China to publicly disclose that relationship and their political gain or some other similar activities by registering with the Department of Justice, right? The Justice Department needs to know. You need to register as a foreign agent. Any of these people being paid by China are going to register as foreign agents. In World War II, for example, an iconic American company, Disney, made tons of public information films, right? They had the propaganda of, the Donald Duck going off to war to fight the Nazis, and they had the stupid Hitler duck, a dream that he has. They pulled it because since then they said it just looks insensitive. It's kind of mean. Well, he's saying instead now Disney is kowtowing to China. They're bending over. They're taking it from China, really, is what's happening, because they think that, well, hey, if we can just bend the rules and, kind of be principle-less and lawless, because that's all they are. They're a company. They're out for one thing and one thing only, money. So, hey, China's got more money. Go there. They don't care about the law. So we actually have to. It's funny. We talk about Republicans being the Republicans are the corporate, the elites, the money people. They're all just the white people that sit on their golf course. No. No, it looks like at this point, the leftists, the globalists, are the ones who are out making money. They want to support the Communist Party and the leftist ideology because that's where they think the money is. forget human rights. They don't care. It's about greenbacks. So read Bill Barr's statements really carefully. Watch the tweets from the cabinet members, from the Department of Justice, from the Department of Homeland Security, from Donald Trump himself, from all of these supporters pointing things out about China that you didn't know before. Because if you didn't know, it's not even a Cold War anymore with China. The acts of aggression over and over and over with them. The release of a virus onto the world, hoarding supplies, masks, and other PPE, the protective equipment that people need. They hoarded it, and then they sent out faulty equipment knowingly. They sent out bad tests knowingly. They infected other people around the world. They sent people who they knew were infected to go and spread the infection. We caught people from China with vials of viruses in the United States illegally, here to spread it. Organically, organic spread. And the media doesn't cover this because why would they want you to know that we're at war with China? That doesn't help them. Trump has to be the positive one and say, things are going to be great. Things are going to be great. And next year is going to be our best year ever. All we have to do is re-elect me and we're going to fight China and kick their teeth in. And once people realize that China is funding the people that are now giving money to Antifa, when China is funding the people who are leading the charge against police, when the people realize that China is funding all of the leftist warfare and anarchy that's going on against the people that are really truly patriots that support our country, left, right, and center, they're going to want war with China. They're going to want what I wanted in March on that third week home. Tell me what you think. Do you want to just see some justice for once? Because I would. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Also, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then like it, because if you didn't like this video, then I don't know what to tell you. I just need to know whether or not I can improve. Keep America afloat.